Millions propel into their dream practice through hindsight, insight, and foresight. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Today, we are going to chat about profit drains. And I know you guys are frustrated because you're always pulling your hair out. It's like, I've got all these clients coming in. I thought we were doing right. Why is our profit not where it should be? Not where we're thinking it should be anyway. So some things to think about are, how are your pricing strategies? Have you taken a really good look at how you are pricing your services? And a lot of this depends on your supplies as well, which we're going to get into because you know that I constantly talk about inventory management. So have you taken a look at the cost of your products in the past couple of months? Have the prices increased that you're paying kind of snuck up on you and you didn't realize it? Are you checking those invoices that you receive from the supplier with what you actually ordered? Are they sending you more stuff than you actually wanted? Sending you different things possibly. And you're just saying, well, maybe they didn't have it in stock. Well, take a look because, and I'm not saying suppliers are trying to pull one over on you, but sometimes suppliers do stick things into the box that aren't supposed to be there. And of course, they're going to charge you. So just make sure you're tracking that. And again, all you gotta do is take that slip that comes with your order and check it against what you actually ordered. Make sure it's the same thing that you ordered, and check prices too. Have those creeped up on you? Some poor appointment management. And this is a discussion you can have with your staff, that what is the best way to have our appointments set up? Obviously, if you have just way too many appointments at one time, maybe overlapping, and then you've got them all slammed into a couple of hours, your staff's going to get stressed out. You're going to get stressed out, and that's not good for anybody. So, and then on the other hand, if you're understaffed, or I'm sorry, underbooked, then obviously you're not going to be able to bring in the type of revenue that you need to keep your practice going. So sit down. First of all, you sit down and kind of think about how you'd like your practice to be and talk to your staff. Make sure that they don't overbook or underbook. And again, it's going to be the best thing for the practice as a whole. So uncontrolled labor costs, and we all know how this is. We've got people standing around doing nothing because, again, we're underbooked. So the labor, you need to kind of coincide those together so that you've got enough labor to cover the appointments or cover the surgeries or cover the dentals, whatever you have going on. And you don't want to overstaff so people are just standing around twiddling their thumbs. And, my thought is that if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. So if there is somebody there that is maybe underutilized at the moment, have them start cleaning up the office. Maybe the front desk staff can spend some time doing some filing or rearranging some things, but there's always something to do in a practice that will help improve not just the workflow, but the overall feeling of confidence within that practice. So are you giving away too many discounts or maybe too many free services? Maybe you don't have the right tracking system that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, that you can get some software that as you're going, just like human medicine, as you're going through the exam, you can check off what you did, and then that system will automatically come up with the invoice. Yes, it takes a little bit of time on the front end to set your prices, but I'm sure that the software vendor would be more than happy to help you with that. And again, hammering on this once again, the KPIs. Have you set up the KPIs that you want to follow? Have you identified maybe the number of new clients you want to bring in a week, or the number of surgeries you want to do in a week, dentals, whatever that number you want to track. Let's define what it is, what it looks like, how we know when we've succeeded, when we've gotten to our point, and let's keep track of those KPIs. And one thing I do want to challenge you with is I'd like for you to take a 30-minute money date. And maybe that's a Friday afternoon, maybe that's first thing Monday morning for you, whatever you're comfortable with. But look at the week's financials. And I'm hoping you're keeping them electronic and not just by hand. Most people use QuickBooks Online, and the reporting of it's really simple. So you'd be able to spit out a report for the week in which you're looking, and just see if it meets your budget, meets your goals. And if it meets it, great. What happened? How did you make it happen? What can we do to keep that momentum going? If it didn't happen, that's okay. Why didn't we reach our goals? What do we need to do next week in order to do so? So again, that's a 30-minute date with your finances, just so you can keep on top of what's going on. And I'd really like you to do that weekly, but obviously if you don't think you can, at a minimum once a month. So some other things that are profit drains. So high cost of goods, and a lot of this, some of this, not a lot of it, but some of it goes in with the inventory management. So if you have quite a bit of inventory on hand, then you've got your cash tied up in that inventory, and you can't do anything about it. You don't have that flexibility of having that cash in your hand. So again, need to monitor that. Think about negotiating with your suppliers. Is there a way to get a better pricing? Maybe if you can't do a better pricing, maybe better terms on payment, maybe 30 days, 60 days. That would be tremendously helpful with your cash flow. Some other things that we can think about. I really don't want you to buy in bulk, because unless it's something like paper towels or something that does not go to waste. If I know there's a lot of suppliers out there that like to sell you those huge packages of inventory, medical inventory, we'll give you this great discount on it. But folks, that doesn't always work well for you, because you've got this huge amount of inventory that we may not use. And you've got this lump sum that you've got to come up with in a particular time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever terms that supplier has given you. But, again, part of the problem could be that those drugs are going to expire. And then, we've wasted that money. So unless it's something stable, office supplies, toilet paper towels, things like that, please consider not buying in bulk, because it really, in the end, is not going to be most beneficial for you. So how are you spending your marketing dollars? Are you getting the clients that you want? And so just reevaluate how you are spending those dollars. And if you're not currently marketing, maybe that's something you could look into. That Facebook, everybody's on Facebook, and you could advertise there. Yes, there's some cost to it, but it's also a good way to get new clients in. But again, let's be very conscious about where we're spending our dollars and how much we're spending on our marketing. So some operational inefficiencies. I know we all just kind of shake our heads at this. How could our tech that we trained for years all of a sudden make this? We're all human, we all make mistakes, but it's like you just shake your head. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. But anyway, make sure you're communicating with your staff, and your staff is communicating with each other. We don't want duplicate work. Obviously, once you get that duplicate work, it's a waste of time and money. So again, good communication skills with the staff. Your technology, is your technology up to date? Do you have the, it doesn't have to be on the bleeding edge, but I would like to see you as up to date as you possibly can. I'd hate to have you be using a computer that's 5 years old. Obviously, that technology has been surpassed for the past 5 years, basically. But think about all the equipment that you do have. Is there something that you need to upgrade that would bring more efficiencies to the practice? And if it is a piece of equipment, let's look at our budget. Let's look and see how we can get that equipment, get the money scheduled so that we can plan for that equipment purchase. And again, we're looking for efficiencies. And sometimes we do have to spend money to get that. So are you personally and or your staff currently upselling? I know when I go to my vet, I don't necessarily get, oh my gosh, by the way, you need X, 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 and X. It's just like, okay, here's the invoice for your services. Here's the bill for our services. And would you, and of course, hand over the card and it gets paid. But there is no thought to how could I better improve my kitties' lives. Now, as you know, mine are spoiled and very well cared for, but do they need dental? I don't know if they need dental. Do they need a particular lab? Just got 2 kittens. Well, not just. They're had them for a month, and oh my gosh, can't believe how much they've grown. They're so darn cute. They're orange boys, and 2 of them. But anyway, do we need to take a baseline blood work on the kittens just to see where they are, and then we can track as they get older how things are from that baseline? Again, I don't know, but it's something that certainly could be offered and could certainly be an upsell, as well as a wellness package. And we all know that people are getting pet insurance, and I have it on my 2 older ones, and I have decided that I'm not going to get it on the kittens because I think I can self-insure at a cheaper cost. But again, CPA, always thinking about that. But for some people, that health insurance is really very vital and valuable to them. But what about a wellness package that you could offer to your clients? I don't know, so many visits a year for $500. That could even include something as simple as your vaccines or any checkup. But we could come up with a valid package, a valid wellness package that would be nice to offer to a client that you could receive payment on a monthly basis. So again, help level out that cash flow. Just something to think about. So how do we fix these drains? Let's conduct an audit. And it sounds so overwhelming, but all it is again is just spending that 30 minutes on your financial date and seeing what's going on with your numbers. Let's look at your pricing structure. Make sure it's in line with that we're covering our costs at a bare minimum, and hopefully we're looking at a profit for it too. Let's use an inventory software management that can track that inventory for you. And again, there's some suppliers that automatically integrate with the inventory management systems, and that way you're getting instantaneous tracking of the costs and how it flows in with your budget. Make sure your staff is trained. I know you do. You've got really great staff, but there might be some idiosyncrasies that you want your staff to know about. Maybe you want to offer something that the vet down the street doesn't offer as far as value add. We have to train the staff on that so that they're up to date on what you're thinking and how you want to present it. And of course, this gets repeated all the time from all directions that's coming to you. Leverage your technology. Is there a way to utilize the technology so that you're streamlining things, that you have certain things automated, especially on the administrative side. If we can get a lot of that automated, oh my gosh, that would eliminate a lot of stress for one thing, and it can save, maybe not save in your labor costs, because if we do have free time with our staff, we're going to want them to do something else. So then therefore we're increasing the staff value to you, because they're able to do something as opposed to picking up the telephone, calling a client, which is highly important. But in this day and age, we can text those appointment reminders, and that staff person can be doing something with a higher value within the practice. Hope this helped. We will be back next week, and just have a fantastic week and keep your heads above water. Talk to you soon. Bye.